All right, what's going on, everybody? Anthony D. Mays here. It's Monday, April the 12th, and I am excited to be joining you via live stream. I thought I would do something really weird today. Normally, I'm talking about tech interviewing, tech culture, all that stuff like life in tech, diversity and inclusion, and I thought I'd mix it up a little bit by doing a bit of live streaming. And not only am I doing live streaming, but I'm doing live streaming. Well, I always do live streaming, but today we're going to stream a game, and so we're going to play Microsoft Flight Simulator. This has been my COVID-19 quarantine thing, so yeah, it's been fun to engage and just I'm not like normal people that play. I think games for relaxation or just to chill out. Like me, my games always have to be like involving a lot of hard work and thinking and puzzles and stuff. So I guess it just fits in with the career choice that I've made because it's all problem solving anyway. But this has been such a fun game to jump into. It is sometimes incredibly frustrating, and anyone who's been playing Flight Simulator 2020 will know that some things are a little rough around the edges. It's still pretty new compared to some of the other flight simulators, but it's nice to jump into this. All right, I'm still getting things set up, honestly. So we're gonna depart at 3:30 Pacific time, which is what's that? 22:30 Zulu. And yeah, that is the plan. At some point, I'll also make this get a recording cleaned up and get it on YouTube so that we can have something a little bit nicer to refer to later on. I can cut out some of the garbage that I might be chatting about. So hopefully you all are having a decent start to your week. Can you believe that we're already in April of 2020 Part 2? It's my nickname for 2021. I don't remember where I got it, but it is what it is. I'm kind of half hoping that not many people show up on this stream because I'm still new at this, and I'm afraid that I'm gonna crash, or that the game is gonna crash, or that I'm going to crumble on the inside from having to deal with air traffic control. We're gonna do live traffic control today, actually, which is another first for me. The flight sim community is really interesting. Like, folks enjoy this and they do it for fun, but they also seem to take this pretty seriously. And some folks have been doing this for a really long time. But fortunately, I think there are so many people in the flight sim community who are very supportive and understanding. So I just want to give a special shout out right now to VATSIM. They're an virtual aviation simulation organization where you can chat with other players via voice, and folks will take on the role of air traffic control, and others will be pilots. And it's just nice getting some of the realism from the game involved in using something like VATSIM. There's others, Avio, Pilot Edge, whatever. I like VATSIM because it's free and it's good for noobs like me, because I am not a pilot. And so if you hear me say something wrong, please don't get too worried, because I'm learning this stuff as I go along. But it's been very fun and kind of makes me want to learn how to fly for real. So why not? What's up, Joseph? Good to see you on YouTube here. I've got like 3 computers in front of me, so occasionally if I'm turned off to the side, it's to see what y'all are saying. So I've got three computers and a plate of food. That's how things are rolling right now. By the way, if things sound a little weird on the mic, it's because my MacBook is like screaming at me right now because I'm doing all this streaming and doing this stuff. So it's cool, but if it sounds like we're actually in the air, don't worry. It's just the computer doing this thing. All right. So if you have problems with the sound at all, hopefully I can do something about it. I might not be able to, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, let me connect to VATSIM right now, and I'm gonna have to check a few things. So there's a number of different tools that I've got to use in order to keep this going, but let's see. All right, cool. I wish that I had shortcuts for the camera. I know it's possible. It's just I don't know how to do it. And I've got enough of a workload trying to manage this plane. Usually in aviation, for the kind of plane that I'm flying and for some other stuff, you usually want to have two pilots, someone to work the radio and then someone to fly the plane. And then, obviously if the first pilot gets incapacitated, you can switch over to the second. So one of the interesting challenges of flight simulation, especially using this kind of tool, is that I'm doing it by myself. So I've got to do the radio work and manage all that. So there's a lot of competing concerns that need to be managed. And I think that's what makes it fun. It's challenging. It scares me half to death, but it's also fun when I'm actually able to get back down to the ground again. As I mentioned before, one of the things I want to tie into this is system design interviewing. And I know it might seem odd that a software engineer would be talking about system design interviewing and while playing a game, but I think there's a lot of commonality between the kind of planning that I would do for a flight, how I put all that stuff together, and the kind of planning that I would do for a system design interview. And I think the reason why there's commonality between the two is because you need a structure and a plan when you're doing a system design interview. You may not know what system you're designing when you're jumping into a system design interview, or you may not know what the question is going to be, but you can anticipate the framework. You can anticipate how you're going to take off, what you're going to do in the middle of the discussion, and how you're going to land this. And I think it's important for you to think about that as you're preparing for systems design interviews, to think about what the discussion is going to look like, and just try to think through what that framework is going to be. So I can talk a little bit about my experience with system design interviews and entertain any questions that you may have about it. Plus, the stuff that's not systems design, that's also cool. Okay. Let's see. Let's take a look at Compton. There's Compton. This is my home city. And I think I'm kind of nervous about navigating around here. It's possible for me to, no, let me just do it. And if I crash, I'll crash, whatever. Okay, cool. So what not a lot of people know about Compton is that Compton has an airport. It has an airport, as you can see, 2 runways, so that's pretty neat. And I've actually run into folks in the flight sim community in LA who fly out of Compton Woodley. So it is non-tower. That is, there's no tower, no air traffic control at the airport managing what happens there. So it is a regional airport and pretty cool. I remember being amazed that Compton had an airport when I was younger and being able to see that. Let me give you a quick tour while I'm here. This is the famous Compton Courthouse. And that little bit of artwork down below in the center of the screen, that's the art that comprises the Compton logo, the city logo. This is the Compton Library right here, adjacent to the courthouse, where I used to go to learn about how to code and learn programming languages and all that stuff. One of the big shopping centers in Compton is here. I lived over in this direction, so if I keep going, here's a middle school. So the middle school is right here, elementary school is here, and then my house is somewhere over here. And if you know Compton, here's Compton College, right here. So I love the detail of this game, just being able to have access to the world. Here's the 91 freeway right here. And one of the reasons why, by the way, Compton is nicknamed the Hub City is because it is at the center of so many different freeways. So let's see how high I can get. If I get pretty high up here, you'll see, well, that's a little too high now, we're in the clouds. So here's the 91 here. Here's the 110 that takes you up to LA, the Harbor City Freeway or San Pedro. Off in the distance somewhere over here is the 110 freeway. So the 110 freeway will take you just between the West Coast and the beaches as far as the Norwalk area. If you take 110, again, you get down to downtown LA and the 10 freeway, which will, the 10 and the 5 and all that stuff. The 5 freeway is over out here somewhere. I don't quite remember. But anyway, yeah, it's a bit farther out. So you can get to anywhere in California starting from Compton, pretty much all the major arteries surround the city, so it's pretty neat to be able to know that and see that. Cool. So hopefully you've been educated a little bit in in the structure of Compton. I've still got to fly this thing, so there's some more prep work that I need to do. So let me see what I can find out. I'm gonna use so many computers here. How are y'all doing? I would love to find out what's going on with y'all as I get some stuff here. I should have done more of this planning beforehand, to be honest with you, but I'm always off on another one. So today, starting our journey, I don't actually have to deal with air traffic control. VATSIM is great. The only issue is that there isn't always someone available because air traffic controllers in VATSIM are all volunteer. They all do it for fun, and so they do it as their schedule enables, which is great. I fly when my schedule enables, and I happen to be on vacation today, so that's why I decided to join here. But it's sometimes when I want to get the interaction with ATC, I've got to go to the places where they are. So we don't have anybody covering LA right now. Someone may come online. That's cool. But I did notice that there is air traffic control up in the Bay Area. So Oakland Center is online. So I expect that I'll need to interact with them once we pass in via this line. So I'll be able to show that to you on this piece of software here. I'm the only one leaving Compton Airport today, so that's cool. And I felt like I didn't join right. Yeah, I didn't because my stuff is wrong. Connect. There we go. Sweet. All right, there we are. There's a little bit of a lag, by the way, between when y'all might post comments and when I'll see it. So that is what it is. But we'll figure that out. Okay, so I've got the latest weather information. I'm all good with that. 0.8. Some other things to set up. So this particular aircraft is the Cessna C4J or model 525C. It is a lightweight jet. So it's got twin engines on the back, and it's pretty nimble. It's not too hard for me to manage the aircraft by myself. It is possible in the flight simulator and on VATSIM to actually have somebody fly with you remotely. I haven't tried that feature out yet, but here's what it is. Okay, let's check the altimeter, which needs to be at 2984. Excuse me, there we go. And let's get some performance information set up. So I've imported my flight plan. There's a great tool called SimBrief for those who might be interested or who do flight simming. SimBrief is a great tool for assembling your flight plan, getting all that stuff set up. And I've really enjoyed using it because it makes the process easier. And my wife, when she looks at me playing this game, she's just like, I don't understand how you do it because it takes so much work and planning just to be able to, like, you're not even flying yet and you're just doing work. And I don't know what to tell her. This is just my thing. So there's something interesting about just going through the process because flying a plane is difficult. It's not easy. With more practice, of course, it becomes easier. But there's a lot of things that you've got to deal with. You're not just dealing with the lateral motion of going straight, left, right, reverse, as you would be in the car. You've also got to worry about this vertical navigation, going up and down, and dealing with all that. So and doing it safely when you've got tons of these machines flying in the air is not easy, but I find this enjoyable. Okay, let's check the flight plan real quick. So I've got a flight plan here, and I'm kind of glad that traffic control isn't online because I figured they might not actually let me do this, but I'm gonna do it because I can. So for this flight, we're gonna take off from Compton, runway 25 right. We're gonna cross over LAX airport actually. So if I can remember, maybe I'll be able to show the camera down over LAX. and then we're going to continue on our flight until we get to Robbie. We're going to transition into what's called a standard terminal arrival routing, I believe, or STAR. So this is the way that that pilots know how to get close to the airport that they need to get to, and contains some things like restrictions on how high you can be for issues like noise abatement and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. We're going to be flying at a height of 38,000 feet. So we're going to get up, and this plane climbs, like it's really good at climbing. So I'm glad about that. But we're going to go to 38,000 feet today, and that's not too bad. This plane is capable of getting up to 45,000, I believe. But I don't usually ever go more than 43,000 feet. So, all right. Cool. Let's get the autopilot set up. So I don't have any ATC, so I'm going to clear myself to go all the way up to my altitude of 38,000 feet. It's possible that somebody might come on in the next minute or so, and that would kind of complicate things, but so far I'm clear. And I'll just keep checking that back and forth to make sure that I don't run into get in any trouble. All right, 38,000 feet. Get that dialed in. We've got 12 minutes to flight time, 12 minutes to flight time. All right, here we go. So I've got my charts ready to go. I've already dialed in my minimums. Departure, we already talked about that. We're just going to go direct to LAX. And I don't need clearance because I don't have ATC, so sweet. 0. Okay. All right, so I think I'm dialed in and ready to go. I've got the avionics set up, and that's all good. You'll be able to, I'll point out different instruments, and if there's something that you don't understand, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to explain the way I think of it. It's nice to be able to do this and force myself to live stream, because it's kind of nerve-wracking to do all this, but I feel like I learn it better by interacting with y'all and giving this a shot. So that's cool. Okay, while I'm here, because it's just a hop, skip, and a jump, I'm going to get the weather information for San Jose. Weather is very important because you need to be able to anticipate the things that are going to happen in the event of things like strong winds or strong gusts. You need to know how hard the wind is blowing and from what direction. That stuff is super critical because that needs to be factored into how you fly. And let me know if I'm boring you with this flight stuff. We'll be underway shortly. Okay. Of course, I think anybody who does flight simming wonders, if you're on a flight and both captains get incapacitated, would you be able to go and fly the plane? It's interesting when you start learning how to do these planes. They're remarkably straightforward to use under some direction. So you could actually get on the phone with air traffic control, and they can help you understand how to get from point A to point B safely, even if you haven't ever flown a plane before. So but I'm not quitting my job anytime soon to do this. That's for sure. I ain't at that level. How many flights have I done with Microsoft Flight Simulator? So yeah, I've done, I don't know. I've put in almost 400 hours of flight time so far. So I don't know how many flights that equates to, but I don't know. I've probably put in 100 flights already. And I've been trying to put in more with air traffic control and actually working with doing real radio work. So none of it actually counts for a license or anything. This is just a game. It's still a game at its heart, but nevertheless, yeah. Okay, let me finish what I was doing here. I think I got what I want so far. Should be a pretty brief trip. About an hour flight time, just like it would normally be in real life. So pretty much up and down, and that's cool. You know, one of the things I miss the most about you know, the pre-COVID life was just the ability to fly and travel. And I didn't realize how much I'd miss it until jumping into Flight Simulator, and I just found myself playing every day. And so I really like, you know, getting the feel of the outdoors, indoors. Sorry if that makes me a little bit of a bum, but I do take walks occasionally. You know, I get outside. I'm not saying I've been locked indoors all day, but you know. So, Stephen, good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. This is my my work colleague and a good friend of mine's. So I'm in the Cessna C4J, or sorry, CJ4, which is the Model 525C. So they actually just came out with the CJ4 Generation 2, which is interesting. And so that includes the new Garmin avionics, or the Garmin 3000 avionics package. This features the Collins avionics system, which is what you might find on Boeing airliner. So overall, I really like Microsoft Flight Simulator. I like that I get to fly Boeing, Airbus, and a variety of different Cessnas. What's super cool to me is that the community of folks who make mods and improvements is very rich. And so what they'll do is add abilities and enhancements that really take the realism up a notch. And so it's very neat. Matter of fact, this CJ4 isn't the base Microsoft CJ4 or Sobo CJ4. This is the working title CJ4. So when I get this into a video, I'll make sure to put this, put some of the links in there so that you'll be able to see it. All right, we're about 6 minutes away from taxiing to the runway, and things are still looking pretty good. Uh-oh, I didn't mean, okay, cool. As I mentioned before, we're going to leave Compton Airport on runway 25 right, cross over LAX, as you can see there, and then transition to FEM. We'll keep heading up north and use the Robbie 5 arrival, and that will get us to the airport. I'm expecting to land runway 30 left, which is usually the easier runway to land on. If I need to do this visually, then I'll have to suck it up and get it done, but is what it is. If you are a flight simmer, please do let me know. I'd love to hear from you. You know, if you enjoy doing this, feel free to teach me some things. I might not be able to implement it right now because I'm gonna be old man about this and just be stuck. Like, this is just the way I do it. So there's that. Let's see that beautiful Compton again. Yeah. When I get the video, I'll give you another tour of the city, and I'll try to point out some things as we fly over locations that I'm aware of. But yeah, you always know Compton. If you're in Southern California, in the LA area, you always know Compton, because the Compton Courthouse is the tallest building in the city. So you'll see a lot of flat land, a lot of homes and stuff, and then you'll see this tall courthouse building. Fun fact, or not so much of a fun fact, but in the late 80s, folks used to shoot the windows out of the courthouse. So yeah, that was a bit of a, there's a bit of notoriety tied to that courthouse. I always felt like, you know, growing up, you know, under the thumb of the law, but I felt like I just was constantly surrounded by law enforcement and the justice system. That was just reinforced in so many different ways. I've ridden in the back of a police car, you know, both when I was taken into foster care and some other situations. Not that I committed any crimes or anything, but it just seems like I've had a closer relationship than maybe most people do with the police beyond being pulled over at a traffic stop. And that's been, you know, good and bad, I think, or good and challenging, I should say, especially in Compton, where you know, police brutality and abuse has, you know, been a thing. And even now, you know, with all the attention But I love the police. I respect our police officers and those who serve to protect our lives. I respect all those who are in authority because the Bible commands me to do so, and so I do so willingly and gladly. Yeah, yeah. All right. It is 3:27, so I'm gonna start pushing back in about 3 minutes. Thanks for joining. You didn't have to spend your Monday afternoon with me. I know some of you might still be at work. Respect. And those of you on the East Coast are just getting off of work. I would have liked to probably have done this a little bit later, but I've got some work to do after this. Again, once we get off the ground here and start getting to cruise altitude, I'm going to, which reminds me, I need to go ahead and put the seatbelt signs in. Yeah, I like that sound.
May I have your attention, please? At this time, please comply with the illuminated seatbelt and no smoking signs. Thank you.
That's right. Y'all buckle up. So as I was saying, once we get off the ground, I'll turn off the seatbelt sign and we can talk about system design interviews and some things that I think that you can do to prepare for that. System design interviews to me are among the easiest kind of interviews to prepare for. They really are. Because you can do so much work ahead of time and start thinking through how you might answer such a question. And there's a number of tips that I often recommend to folks who are doing system design interviews in preparation. I'll just share that with you now or later on and just talk about how you should think about it, how you prepare, how you might execute. And for those of you that have done system design interviews, please do hold me accountable. Let me know if you think that there's something that I'm missing or something that you could add. Folks do things a little bit differently from the way that I do it. I can only tell you what worked for me, having gone through a systems design interview and passed in order to get the job that I have now as a software engineer in Silicon Valley. So there's all that. By the way, of course, the naming of this video from Compton to Google, for any of you that know me, you know that I'm may have become a little famous from a BuzzFeed video entitled "From Compton to Google." And so if you'd like to check out more about my own personal story, about my journey from the hood of Compton, California to getting to a place like Google and the things that I had to do in my career to get there in education, feel free to check that video out. It's on BuzzFeed again. If you follow me, Anthony D. Mays, on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, you'll probably easily find it from my profile. But I've heard from so many people around the world that it's an inspirational story. And it is what it is. So I aim to inspire. Okay, cool. So we are ready to push back now. And again, my goal is to get us in the air and to San Jose safely. By the way, why San Jose? San Jose because that's where I fly in order to visit the Google headquarters when I'm in town. So you want to get to all the tech companies out there, you're probably going to go San Jose. Obviously, San Francisco will get you there too. But I like San Jose Airport. I like the San Jose area. Not sure I could live there. It ain't really for me. But it is what it is. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and push back because I think it's about time for us to get in the air. Releasing the parking brake. We are going to have a pretty normal departure here. Alrighty. Just like we practiced, Anthony. I'm going to turn on my strobe light, or not my strobe light, my beacon light, because I'm about to turn the engines on. I don't actually know if I can start the engines as I push back or not, but I'm going to try that out. In the meantime, let me go ahead and let folks know that I am here at Compton traffic. All right, that's far enough. So Compton Airport is actually a pretty small airport. Not necessarily the best for having this particular jet, but this is a game, so I'm gonna do what I want.
Burbank traffic, 725, texting to runway 15, cross 126 via Alpha for Burbank traffic.
Los Angeles traffic, this is Skywest 295, departing off of runway 25 right at LAX on the summer state departure, Los Angeles traffic.
Okay, so one of the things I'm doing right now is I don't feel like talking on the mic. I will have to do that later on, so excuse me if I need to cut in the middle of a question in order to do that. But when you're flying in uncontrolled airspace, as we are going to start off doing here, there is a specific frequency that you can tune into to figure out what other pilots are doing around you. So I'm on Unicom, which on VATSIM is frequency 122.8 or 122.8 in America. And I'm just gonna wait for these engines to get ready to go. We're making good time. We're making good time. All right, so we're gonna pretty much fly direct to our first waypoint again over LAX and just climb on out of here. So let's see what the traffic is looking like around here. Not too bad. Not too bad. It's pretty light. All right, let's get the engine started up. I'm going to do a big no-no, which is starting both engines at the same time. In the real world, you don't actually do that, I believe. But again, this is a game, so we need to get going. Did I set my parking brake? I did not. All right, there we go. This is my first time streaming a game. I've never done this before, so but I like trying new things, and we'll see how this goes. All right, engine is started up. We're gonna go flaps 15 for this, so getting that set up. All right, want my taxi lights on. Check. Takeoff trim is set, speed brake is off, and we want our TCAS mode to TARA, which in VATSIM, anytime you're taxiing on a runway, you need to do that. All right, let's get going. Gonna be a little difficult. Let me turn on the pitot heat. There we go. Again, this is kind of a small airport. I'm not sure that the kind of jet that I'm flying right now would actually be parked here. And matter of fact, I don't think any of these jets would actually, not many of these jets would actually be here, probably. I've only noticed the smaller type Cessna 152, 172s here. But like I said, this is a game. I'm gonna do what I wanna do. View of Compton Courthouse right here. So, let's see. Sad. We're getting ready to go. All right, I'm gonna set my landing lights and strobe lights on now because it's not a long taxi to the runway. Don't see any traffic coming that way. I think we're good there. And nobody's at this airport, so I don't have to worry about communicating too much. But I'll still hold short here anyway. Just to make sure. Yeah, I don't have anybody coming in. All right. Again, for those of you who are real pilots, hopefully I'm not cutting any corners here, or not too many. I want to keep some semblance of realism here, but like I said, I'm a noob. All right, I don't see any traffic down that way, so we're good there. Don't see any traffic that way. All right, I'll make sure to let folks know when I'm actually getting in the air. We're going to use the full runway because this is a jet and the runway is not terribly lengthy. So, yeah, have to deal with that. If you notice down the way, there's just a little bit of a bump there. that kind of concerns me because I'm worried that I'm going to crash before I actually get up in the air from hitting the bump too fast. But I've tried this a couple of times before. It wasn't an issue. So just hoping that remains the case. Okay. Alright, so taking off.
Burbank traffic, Skyway 725 lining up and taking off runway 15, departure to the north via this flat 2 departure. Burbank traffic.
Yeah, so I should probably actually get on the radio because why not? It'd be good for me to practice this right now anyway, so here we go. Compton traffic, ExecJet 3407 lined up on runway 25 right in Compton, preparing to take off to the north. Yep. Cool. So that is all that. I believe that we're ready to take off. Make sure that we get toga power going. And if I ignore all y'all for a while, don't worry, it's just me trying to get in the air. Here we go. Decent roll. Airspeed alive. Rotate at about 95. Yeah, that was bumpy. All right, let's get in the air. Cool, there we go. We are in the air.
Well, Social traffic, United 15, 15 miles on final, row 824 right.
Alright. Flight level change, there we go. Autopilot on. Should have turned on the yaw dampener too. I missed that. Alright, bring it back to climb power because we don't need all of that quite yet. And
traffic flying in Kansas, left downwind for runway 24 right.
Cool. Hopefully y'all can still hear me over the radio traffic. I tried to set this up in such a way that you could hear the radio traffic and also hear me. So if you feel like you can't hear me very well, just let me know and I'll see what I can do. All right. Let's take a look at the external view here.
Burbank traffic, Skyway 725 clear to runway 15.
All right, we've got Hawthorne Airport below us. Sweet. There's some cloud cover over here, so I don't think we're going to be able to see LA, unfortunately. Yep, there's the 110 freeway below us. That's pretty cool. I think that's 110 freeway. Pretty sure it is. Is it? Yeah, right. I shouldn't doubt myself. All right. We're doing pretty all right. There's LAX just below us. So LAX has 4 runways. 25 left, 25 right, and over here 4 left and 24 right. They all actually have the same heading, but you can't have 25 lefts, so they've run that up a bit.
Burbank traffic, Skyway 75 direct to Ravy.
All right, let's see. So here we are. Here's Compton Airport. Just zoom in a little bit more. I need to update this because we did just pass LAX. Yeah, a little bit of a delay. But so far, doing good. Once we get up to 10,000 feet, I'll go ahead and accelerate here a bit. The CJ4 can climb at target speed of 240 knots, so that's pretty cool. So it'll get up there. Cool. Look at that gorgeous craft. All right, anyway. All right, cool. So now landing lights come off, and I'm gonna go ahead and accelerate to 240 knots. Really let her open up. Cool. There we go. So one of the great things about this particular jet is you've got to fly it. It does not have auto throttle, so I've got to be watching the throttle to make sure that I'm not going too fast. Because if I go too fast, that has the that can damage plane components, and in the game it'll just end the flight from causing too much damage to the aircraft. So we don't want to do that. Yeah, I'm climbing pretty fast here, but it is what it is. That needle's all the way up to the top. Once we pass 18,000 feet, I'll need to switch to standard altimeter. So standard altimeter is 29.92, 2992. So I'll need to be watching for that. And that's when we start talking, going from thousands of feet to flight level.
15 vacating, runway 24 right.
There we go. Yep, making our way. So here we are, and we need to get up here to San Jose. Pretty good. All right, I can set standard altimeter now, and I should have changed my secondary display. I keep forgetting to do that, so I'll remember on our descent down. Excuse me. Things are looking good so far. We zoom out here. So again, we're going to, what does FIM stand for? I don't actually know. And I don't have it in my flight plan, unfortunately, because the tool I was talking about, which is so cool, didn't actually generate everything that I needed, probably because I was flying from Compton Airport. It is what it is. Okay, let's see. Checking on things here. Want to make sure that I am attentive to your needs. Again, you know, I'm horrible about just planning these streams in the moment, as opposed to really thoughtfully planning this out a week in advance or something like that, so that y'all have enough time. So if you join late, you know, it's not your fault, it's me. But grateful to have you, that's for sure. All right, let's see, what else do I need to be doing here on the climb? I think we're good. The plane is just doing what it needs to do, and I'm going directly to my intended flight level, so we're good there. Again, we're flying at, we're gonna be getting up to 38,000 feet today, which isn't the highest that this jet can go. It can go up to 45,000, but it's up there. In the meantime, I've also got to be checking to make sure that there are no planes coming in my direction at that same altitude, because that would not be ideal. But the way that I'm headed, they should be they should be coming back on odd thousands. I should be on even thousands, so that will ensure that we keep at least 1,000-foot separation between us. That's what I'm hoping for, but that's what it is. Cool. So while we're on our climb here, let's start talking about systems design interviews and what you need. So what is a system design interview? Let's just talk about that real quick. A system design interview is an interview in which you'll be asked to design some system. And typically what a system design interview is designed to do is to help understand if you know your stuff. Do you understand the patterns and paradigms that go into building a system? And the system can be of varying different sizes. You could have a smaller system used by a few hundred, few thousand users, or you could have a planetary scaling system. And if you're interviewing at a top tech company like the Googles, Facebooks, Amazons, whatever, they're going to want you to know how to build systems that scale to really large numbers of people and clients. So, but if you're not interviewing for one of those kinds of companies, you may not get a system design question that massive. You still could, but you may not. So I think one of the first things you need to do when you're preparing for a systems design question is to understand the company for which you're applying. What kind of technology do they dabble into? What kind of tools do they use? There's a lot of research that goes in, well, not a lot, but there's some research that goes into preparing for a systems design question. You want to make sure that you are on your P's and Q's and ready to go there. And the way that you do that is by looking at things like white papers, articles, even YouTube videos from other engineers that maybe work at the company or work in a similar space, who can explain how Twitter works, how Netflix works, how Amazon works, and talk through the various things, how servers are set up, how components are distributed, what load balancing is, in the various load balancing strategies, what firewalls are and how they figure in, co-location, this and that and the other. Thinking about regionality and robustness and all that. So you can find articles in videos and things that talk about how large-scale systems are built, and simply by reviewing those videos or reviewing those resources, you can learn a lot about how distributed systems work and the kinds of protocols and things that are involved. So, but that research begins with you just understanding the company and what it is that they do and how they set things up. That can be very, very helpful to you as you're getting ready. Let's take a look outside. Woo, that's beautiful. I really love the clouds. I'm a big fan of the clouds, so I love that in this game they have such a realistic representation of clouds. I just find that so cool. I forgot I've got another one I can use for that. Cool. All right, 36,000 feet. We'll be at 38,000 feet very shortly. So we're just going to keep going there. Again, when I get closer to Oakland Center, I'm going to have to jump on the radio here and talk to air traffic control to make sure that I am doing what I need to do. One of the biggest jobs, by the way, of air traffic control is to ensure that you are, that everyone can fly around safely, doing what they need to do. Still streaming, so that's good.
Altitude.
Yep, there's my altitude check. I'm going to have to bring back the throttle. Well, I won't bring back the throttle yet because I want to, what's going to happen is the plane is going to level off. So right now it's going up like this. It's going to level off. And when you do that, there isn't as much work that the plane needs to do to get up to that altitude anymore. So when it goes flat, the plane is going to start speeding up. So when you look over here on the left, this number is going to start climbing up. And I want it to climb up because we're going to be flying or cruising at Mach 0.74. 0.74. So Mach is a measure of speed compared to the speed of sound. So yeah, there it is. Sweet. So I'll try to keep my eyes on this, but also talk about this. So we talked a little bit about the fact that you need to do some preparation for system design interviews. Like there's not really any way around that. I mentioned one way of preparing, which is to go and watch videos and read articles about how systems are built and learn about how all that stuff works. The other way you can do it is by by working at a company where you get practical hands-on experience. And so for me, some of what I learned was in college at the University of California, Irvine, learning about distributed systems there, but also I had the opportunity to work for an e-commerce shop. And that's great, right? Because you've got storefronts and you want to be able to work with customers all around the globe in most cases. Let me dial the throttle back here. And so, working for an e-commerce shop is cool because you're working for, you're building a system that needs to be highly available, can't afford downtime, because if the system is down, then customers can't get there and you end up losing money. And so you need to be keenly thinking about make sure that everything is up and reliable and robust. So there's all that. So yeah, you can do some research and just learn. If you don't happen to be working at a place that gives you a lot of experience with distributed systems, you can always do research on YouTube and read articles, or again, get some practical experience. I think those are the two ways I'd recommend doing it. I mean, taking a class is great, but until you actually get your hands on these kinds of systems and observing them in the real, that knowledge just doesn't really do you a lot of good. And one of the things I tell younger programmers coming up in the game, because I've been in tech for a little over 20 years now, I always tell them, like, you gotta apply yourself. You got to be using the knowledge outside the classroom. You've got to do that, because that's what's going to help you help that knowledge really stick, because things aren't always as neat as they're presented in the classroom. As a matter of fact, they rarely ever are. So that's what it is. Cool. All right. I think I'm still keeping up with everyone. We're doing okay here on the speed. Things are looking good from my standpoint. Yeah, like I said, I really like flying this plane, Cessna CJ4. It's got plenty of oomph for getting you where you need to go. Now, in addition to preparation, see, our trip is not very long at all. Pretty soon, about 100 miles, I'm going to hit the top of descent and start getting down closer to land. We'll see how the landing goes. In the meantime, let me just check and make sure. I'm going to be hitting Oakland airspace soon. I'm going to have to pay attention for that. But another thing that you want to do when you're planning for systems design interviews is to have a framework. And there's a couple of things that you want to do. First of all, you want to, I think, break up your thinking around system design in a fairly classical way. By classical, I mean something reminiscent of waterfall. That is, you want to get your requirements, understand what those are. So you need to be asking questions about what the system needs to do. And the second thing you need to do is start thinking about what I call design. Well, not what I call, but you want to start thinking about design. And design is really a two-step thing. First, you want to sort of understand what qualities the software needs to possess. So what are the highest priorities? Does it need to be robust? Does it need to be fast and performant? Are there interesting performance constraints? Does it need to handle a high number of queries per second? Those kinds of deals, right? What are you going to do about robustness? What are you going to do if a server goes offline? How are you going to plan for having a backup ready to go? What are you going to do if some traffic gets overloaded? What are you going to do about security, right? Security is another important software concern. One software concern that often gets overlooked is accessibility. If you want your software to be used by people, you need to make sure that it's accessible. And so what are you going to do for folks who may not have full vision or full range of motion to use classical input devices, color blindness, right? But accessibility could also tie into things like internet connection. If you're serving a population that doesn't have a strong internet connection, How are you going to ensure that your software remains responsive and interactive? What are you going to do when you're dealing with folks who are on cell phones, right? Maybe they don't have a lot of bandwidth. Of course, that's changing all the time now. You're starting to get, home internet speeds on your cell phone, out on the street. So, but nevertheless, phones aren't all powerful devices. They do have limits, and understanding how to build an app that will work with the phone or a mobile website or whatever. Those are the concerns that you need to be thinking about. If you're serving an international audience, internationalization is important, right? How are you thinking about languages and displays and all that stuff? So those are qualities that you need to understand. And you can probably just Google software qualities to find a listing of these things. But when you're thinking about a design for a system, you need to be thinking about the qualities that that system needs to meet. Correctness may be very important. You may need a certain kind of precision, right? If you're building software for flight instruments, precision is absolutely important. But if you're doing statistical analysis where you can afford to have some fuzziness, because you're doing things like sampling, then maybe it just needs to be correct within a certain delta, right? Of precision. Typically, when we talk about correctness, we're really focused on, is the software doing what it's supposed to do, right? Are you building in a way that meets the requirements that are given? So that's a little bit on the design. So we talked about design, security, robustness. We talked about internationalization, accessibility. The localization is another one. So these are just some words, some qualities that you want to keep in mind as you think about the design. And as you ask questions about the kind of qualities that your software needs to possess, that's when you're going to switch over to actually thinking about how are you going to build that to meet the requirements that you collected in the beginning and meet the design. So, for instance, when you're building scalable software, you're not going to put everything on one machine, right? You're just not going to do that because that's not going to work. You're going to have to put things on multiple machines, and you may have a database that's scaled across, 6 or 7 different servers, whatever that may be. And you need to be thinking about, okay, well, how am I going to distribute the database in the way that I needed to? Is it going to be read-write with just read replicas? Are you going to have backups for the database? Are you going to have some primaries and secondaries? Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to think about that? All right. For internationalization, do you know how you would do that? Right? Do you know how that works in the programming language that you're interviewing in? That could be a topic of conversation, right? How would you ensure that your app supports multiple languages? I talked about load balancing, right? In the most popular kind of load balancing algorithm that you would use is round robin. So what happens is you just keep going around on a collection of servers, and if one server's too busy, you move on to the next one. If that one's too busy, move on to the next one, so on and so on. I think I have that described right. Please correct me if I'm wrong, by the way. I know there's at least one expert here. Joseph, you ask, should you be prepared to do back of the envelope calculations? Absolutely be prepared for that. And the requirement, so what you'll do is you'll listen to the requirements to try to understand, okay, well, how many people are going to be using this system? How often? What are the use cases in which they're going to be using it? So for instance, maybe you've got a system where you've got 3 different roles. So again, thinking about use case design, maybe you've got administrators, you've got users, and then you've got viewers, or administrators, editors, and viewers. Let's just say that, right? So your administrators, they're not going to be that many, and so they're only going to be doing what they need to do every now and again. Editors, less frequent than viewers. Viewers could be a lot, right? And so if you might consider breaking out your system so that you've got your editing related services and architecture separate from the stuff needed for viewers. That way you don't have to, you can isolate that, right? Editors can continue doing what they need to do, and then viewers can do what they need to do. But you'll figure out, okay, well, I've got these kinds of roles and this many kinds of people, and I'm expecting them to create videos this often or tweet this often or whatever that is. And that's going to come down to this many queries per second. Let's assume that each unit of data is, oh, okay. Hey, I've got a contact Oakland Center, so let's jump on that.
213, thank you.
Oakland Center, ExactJet 3407 is at flight level 380.
ExactJet 3407, Oakland Center, squawk 3234.
3234. Alright, so we're dialed in on the squawk and should be good there. So from this point, I'm going to talk less so that I can talk to center and make sure that I'm hearing what I need to, so I can get us on the ground safely. Let me know if you're enjoying this or not, because if you're not enjoying this, I just won't do it. But if you are, then I'll try to find opportunities to do it again. Yeah, we're going to be nearing our top of descent once we pop past the Avenal transition. And that would be good. Yeah, so we're about a little under, what's that, 40 miles away from our top of descent.
ExactJet 3407, radar contact 5 miles southeast of the Avenal VOR.
Sweet, so air traffic control can see me. That's good. And I don't really need to worry about this.
American 781, Oakland Center, did I miss you checking on?
Roger, American 781 out of flight level 180 for 190.
American 781, Oakland Center, climb and maintain flight level 370.
Flight level 370, American 71.
Cool. All right, so a number of things I need to do before we get on the ground. First, I need to check the weather for... All right, so we don't have an ATIS, so I'm going to have to check this manually. I'll use the real-world stuff, because that's easy to find. All right, we're expecting wind to be coming from 320 degrees, 8 knots. Skies are clear enough for us to land. Altimeter is going to be 2980. Temperature 22 degrees. 2.5 degrees Celsius. So that's nice. Cool. Oakland Center, ExactJet 3407 will be ready to descend via the Robbie 5. Expecting 31 left.
ExactJet 3407, cross 15 miles south of Salinas at maintain flight level 200.
Salinas at 200 for ExactJet 3407. All right. So
flight 213, contact Oakland Center 127.905.
So
2795, 213. We'll see you, brother.
Yep. EPS 2671, leaving my airspace, radar service terminated, frequency change approved.
Frequency change approved. Thanks so much for your coverage. I hope you have a good day. See ya.
United 1434, contact NorCal approach 133.905.
3395, United 1434 with you.
See ya.
All right, cool. So I've been instructed to descend to make sure that I'm crossing the Salinas, which is this SNS here, at flight level 200. So that's pushed our top of descent on a little bit, but it should be good. There we go. I'm going to, so their air traffic control is going to step me down.
Number 3206, leaving my airspace, radar service terminated, frequency change approved.
Roger, Unicom, citation 3206, have a good day. See you.
Oakland Center, Skywest 3807, flight 300.
Skywest 3807, Oakland Center, squawk 3334.
3334, Skywest 3807.
You know, usually I'm scared to death doing air traffic control stuff, but because I guess I'm on with y'all, I don't feel so nervous. That plus I've been putting in a ton of practice, so that's better. That helps. All right, so I think I've got the ATIS. Yeah, I've got the ATIS QNH. And actually, I'll just dial it in right now. I'm not expecting it to change. It'll remind me that I need to tune it down. I'll get there. All right.
Skywest 3807, radar contact 15 miles southeast of Paso Robles VOR. Maintain flight level 300. Maintain 300, Scott 307.
Hopefully I sound competent. And you know, if you think I've made some mistakes during this flight, feel free to remark in the comments. I'm good with that. I like the constructive feedback. That'll only help me get better. All right.
Exec Jet 3407, clear direct Salinas.
Clear direct Salinas, Exec Jet 3407. Alright, so I get to go more direct. So,
Skywest 3295, contact NorCal approach 133.905.
133.905 for 3295. You have a great rest of the day.
Yep.
Nice, Steven. I'm glad. Can I see your house from here? Let's go.
Delta 3722, leaving my airspace, radar service terminated, frequency change approved.
Delta 3722.
Delta 3722, affirmative, radar service terminated, frequency change approved.
Just make sure that my stuff is...
Number 251, Golf, Roger.
I feel like this type of descent
Disregard.
is not what it needs to be. Maybe I should trust it.
Yeah, 321, leaving my airspace, radar service terminated, frequency change approved.
Over to Unicon for 33 for United 321. You have a good day.
Oh, yep, there it is. Let me turn off that radio, which is useless because I'm not using Compton. Alright, cool.
Skywest 3807, same Mach number.
We're going 0.78, 3807.
Skywest 3807, roger, reduced to Mach 0.74.
0.74, 3807.
Exec Jet 3407, same Mach number.
Mach number 0.74.
Exec Jet 3407, roger, able any faster than, say, 77?
Negative. I might be able to get up to 7.6. Maybe 7.7. I'll give it a shot. Exec Jet 3407.
Exec Jet 3407, roger. Maintain Mach 0.76 and transition to 290 knots or greater in your descent.
290 knots or greater on the descent. Exec Jet 3407. Let's see.
Horizon 5315, we have San Francisco's information read.
Horizon 5315, roger.
Alright, I'm going to get ready to descend, so I'm going to have to pull back on the throttle and take the dive down. Yeah, there we go. So I'm right at the edge there. As soon as we get ready to descend, we're going to start to get the alarm. Alright, so so air traffic control is asking me to make sure that I'm going fast enough, probably to ensure that there's enough separation between myself and another aircraft. I would look right now, but I want to make sure that I am staying at the speed that's been requested of me. So we're going to just be basically riding.
Exec Jet 3407, clear direct Gilrow.
Clear direct Gilrow, Exec Jet 3407. So this is where I'm now in a very interesting situation.
4148, reset transponder and squawk 3353.
Alright, so it looks like I'm in a little bit of trouble because I've overflown my descent path, which I was hoping I would just be able to fly the star and do it, but that is not happening.
Altitude.
Delta 4148, reset transponder, squawk 3353.
So I'm going to get down to 20,000 feet. Because that's what I was cleared for.
3353, 4148.
November 251 Golf Oakland Center, Elon. Skywest 3807, descend via the Silicon 4 arrival, runway 30, the San Jose altimeter 2980.
Silicon 4 and 2980 for the altimeter 007. What was the runway?
Runway 30.
30, so 307.
Should be able to make that.
American 405, flight over 190, flight over 230, Darby.
November 251 Golf Oakland Center, roger, the Napa altimeter 2980.
2980, November 251 Golf.
All right, so this actually works out well for us. So it looks like the controller is just gonna skip me right past the star.
3412 Oakland Center, climb maintain flight level 370.
So I'm gonna get to pretty much go right to
Flight
the
over
end of it.
370, American 412.
Need to keep my speed up.
Delta 4148 leaving my airspace. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved.
4148.
November 251 Golf. Advise the weather and NOTAMs at Napa County. Do you have an approach request?
Say again for 251 Golf.
November 251 Golf. Advise the weather and NOTAMs at Napa County. And did you have an approach request?
Yes, sir. We request ILS Zulu for runway 1 left.
Actually, no, we're gonna take off.
November 251 Golf. Roger. I have your request.
Actually, no, it was useful. So just keep, we're descending. Oh, you know, give me a. Yeah, there we go. So I'm descending at the rate that I need
November
to.
251 Golf. Clear direct Fast Ave.
Direct Fast Ave, November 251 Golf.
All right, while I'm doing this, let me make sure that I am. So as you can tell, I'm kind of occupied now because I've got to make sure that I get to where I'm supposed to go. Let's get that speed. Oh yeah.
Horizon 5315, reporting wind shear at my altitude and location.
All right. I'm going to need to pull up the runway information here. It looks like I should be able to get 30 left, which is fantastic.
Aircraft calling Oakland Center, I was coordinating. Say again.
There we go.
Horizon 5315, we just want to report a small amount of wind shear at my location, flight level 240.
We're speeding along.
Southwest 2806, plan approved D.
Get back down here. So I'm anticipating that there's probably another aircraft coming in for San Jose. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so we've got, what's the Skywest?
Skywest 3807, resume published speeds on the arrival.
Yep, we're slowing down, 3807.
Just keep my ears open. I probably would have been...
November 251 Golf, cross Fast Ave at 3000, cleared ILS, runway 1 left, approach Napa.
Clear Fast Ave at 3000, clear for ILS approach, runway 1 left, 251 Golf.
So I need to get to 8,000 feet actually. We're going kind of fast.
Oakland Velo 101,
November 251 Golf, cross Fast Ave at 3000, cleared ILS, runway 1 left, approach.
Cross Fast Ave at 3000, clear for ILS approach, runway 1 left, November 251 Golf.
Right, so
Oakland Velo 101, file 340.
Golf Oakland Center, how do you do this transmitter?
So we're doing okay.
Exec jet 3407, Oakland Center.
Is that jet 3407? Go ahead.
Skywest 3807, Oakland Center.
555, 3007.
Radio check.
It's going to hear you 5x5. ZJ 3407. Looks like our guy's having issues.
SkyWest 3807, Oakland Center.
We hear you, 3807.
Altitude.
Alright, so yeah, this is interesting.
American 412, how do you hear this transmitter?
5x5.
Roger. Executive 3407, contact NorCal approach 133.905.
133.905 for Jet 3407.
November 251 Golf, since I didn't get the read back, verify cross FSF at 3000, cleared ILS, runway 1 left approach.
United 1434 at Eddie, join the quiet bridge visual, runway 28 right.
At Eddie or at Archie?
I'm going to be too
At
high
Archie,
coming into
join
this.
quiet bridge
I might
visual,
miss this
runway 28
approach,
right.
y'all. This is interesting.
Sounds
This
good.
will be
We'll
a first.
join the final approach course for the quiet bridge visual at Archie, Unit 1434.
Approach, ExecJet 3407 is at flight level 200, preparing to get to Gilroy.
ExecJet 43407, descend and main, or NorCal approach, expect ILS runway, expect ILS runway 28, runway 30 left approach, San Jose altimeter 2980.
Altimeter 2980, expect ILS 30 left. Did you say descend and maintain 8000? ExecJet 3407?
ExecJet 3407, descend and maintain 6000.
Descend and maintain 6000, ExecJet 3407. All right,
NorCal approach, SkyWest 3807,
all
15,000.
the way down to 6000.
SkyWest 3807 NorCal approach, expect ILS runway 30 left approach, San Jose altimeter 302980.
2980, 30 left, SkyWest 3807.
SkyWest
Cutting this a little close.
3807, reduce speed to 250.
250, 3807.
All right, but 6000 is good, so I'll be able to
Hawaiian
know
16 is
whether
ready
or
for
not I'm
push
actually
and
gonna
start.
make this or not.
Hawaiian 16, push and start approved, face north.
All right, cool, 6000. All right, so we got our altitude dialed in, and hopefully.
SoCal approaching 415, position 9.
Yeah, there we go.
Ready
This is
taxiing
good.
1 left.
United 415, runway 1 left, taxi via Alpha, Mike 1.
All right, now we're below
Alpha
18,000
Mike
feet, so now
1,
set
United
the
415.
local altimeter, which is
SkyWest
2980.
3295, traffic to pair, 2 to 3 o'clock, 10 miles south westbound, United A319 through 5,900 report set.
So we're not going to miss this. This is great.
We don't have the traffic assigned right now, but we'll keep an eye out for the traffic, 1395.
United 1434, traffic to pair at your 10 o'clock. It should be 10 to 11 o'clock, 10 miles northeastbound, SkyWest CRJ at 5,500 report site.
That's me.
Hey, we got SkyWest traffic at site, United 1434.
United 1434, maintain visual separation of the traffic, cleared, quiet bridge visual, runway 28 right approach.
We'll maintain visual with the traffic cleared, quiet bridge, visual 28 right, United 1434.
United 1434, confirm you have the bridges in sight, right?
We'll inform you in just a second, just a little bit of haze as I make the turn here.
All right, cool. So once I get down to 10,000, I'm going to need to.
SkyWest 3295, traffic now 1 to 2 o'clock, 5 miles southeastbound. United A319 at 4,600 has you in sight.
Busy sky today. All right, let's see.
Yeah, we still don't have visual sign on the traffic, but we have him on our radar for 3295.
SkyWest 4295, 3295, he has you in sight, he'll maintain visual. SkyWest 3295, do you have the bridges in sight?
Affirmative, we do have a bridge inside for 1395.
Some speed break.
Skywest 3295, we are the bridges. I don't see why you wouldn't have the traffic at your 12 o'clock, less than 3 miles now. But clear quiet bridge visual, or clear tiptoe visual, runway 28 left approach. Clear from the tiptoe 28 left approach for 1395. It's just a MS 2020 issue with the model matching. Skywest 3295, roger. Yeah, it is 1434 cleared, runway 28 left clear land, or right, 28 right clear land. 28 right clear land, and we do have the bridges in sight now, United 1434.
Alright, cool.
3295, we just got the United in sight.
Skywest 3295, follow that traffic, do not exceed traffic.
Alright, let's get the speed break
Oh,
off
follow
now.
that traffic is 28 left for 1395, thanks.
And Skywest 3295, runway 28 left clear land.
28 left, clear to land, 1395.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Right.
the 58, confirm
So we're
we
doing
will
good.
clear to cross 1 left and 1 right.
Yeah, it is 58, cross runway 1 left, cross
Have a
runway
little
1 right at
sweat on my
Foxtrot.
nose.
Foxtrot crossing 1 left and 1 right, United 58.
ExecJet 3407, proceed direct Clyde, cross Clyde at 4000. Cleared ILS runway 30 left approach.
Clyde at 4000. Cleared for 30 left approach. Execjet 3407.
Skywest 3807, rear speed at 210.
210, Skywest
Go
307.
down to 4,000 feet.
And approach Delta 665,
Right,
destination Lima,
departure.
Curlin Bravo, taxi to, I believe, gate 41.
7000.
You know, never mind.
What?
I'm about to get there anyway.
Block.
But keep the speed up.
Delta 665, taxi to the ramp via Alpha, remain this frequency, take care.
The Alpha remain frequency 665, take care.
So I'm clear for the approach pretty soon here.
SoCal approach, profile 213, checking in, descending by the Diamond 5 arrival. And we have it is Julia. Or Lima, I should say.
Just make sure.
United 523 heavy, cross runway 28 left at Tango, taxi to the ramp via Alpha, remain this frequency, good day.
Cross 28 left on Tango, continue to the ramp via Alpha on this frequency, United 523, we will be back with you soon for clearance to Vegas.
Pro flight 213, car NorCal approach, expect quiet bridge visual, runway 28 right approach, San Francisco altimeter 29.
Alright, things are going well. I was a little bit worried there,
2976, we'll plan on the quiet bridge visual for 2A,
there's
213, thank you.
airport out there. We're doing just fine.
Southwest 44, ready for taxi.
You can see the lights just a little bit out
Southwest
there.
484, runway 17, the left taxi via Delta.
Hawaiian 16, ready to taxi to 28 left.
So let's go ahead and
Hawaiian
send
16,
just
hold
a
position,
little bit
traffic is
faster.
a heavy Boeing 767-300 taxiing on Alpha.
Holding position, Hawaiian 16.
Alright, we're doing
Skywest
good.
3807 at Clyde, cleared ILS, runway 30 left approach. Maintain 180 knots to high deck.
Alright, 180 knots, after Clyde, cleared 30 left, ILS, Skywest 3007.
Alright, cool. So, yeah, throwing out some flaps here just to make sure that we're getting to the altitude we want. And once we ascend just a little bit more steeply than I probably need to, but I'd rather be safe than sorry because I'm live streaming. Alright. Alright, so we've captured our altitude. I'm going to go ahead and throw on the approach mode. And pretty soon, a couple things are going to happen. We're going to hitch ourselves onto the localizer. The localizer is it's equipment that's used to help do two things. Number one, measure distance from the plane, from the touchdown.
ExecJet 3407, runway 30 left, clear to land.
Runway 30 left, clear to land. ExecJet 3407. Alright, so got the landing clearance. I'm going to go ahead and get us down lower because I can to at least the glide slope. Hopefully chase this down. Yeah, so
SoCal approach 9415 heavy, full and short. Runway 1 left, Mike 1.
Got it, 415 heavy, runway 1 left, line up and wait.
Line up and wait, runway 1 left, 9415 heavy.
make sure to descend
Hawaiian
properly.
16, runway 28 left, taxi via.
I have a feeling I'm gonna have to land this
Hotel
myself.
Bravo, Foxtrot 1, Foxtrot, hold short 1 left.
Taxi via Hotel Bravo, Foxtrot 1, Foxtrot to 28 left, Hawaiian 16.
Hawaiian 16, hold short 1 left.
Interesting, I'm not getting the ILS signal, which I'm
hold short 1 left,
Hawaiian
16.
by now, I think. So let me just check and make sure that we're good there. Localize is 110.9. What do I have? I should have cross-checked this on the descent. Things got a little busy. Yeah, there it is, 110.9. Get that plugged in there, and I'm on the
That is 1434, hold short 28 left, traffic to Sky West short final.
Sweet.
Yep, holding short of 28 left, 1434.
So now the plane is going to start descending on its own.
Yeah, 58 heavy, runway 28 left, line up and wait.
Slope 2.
28 left, line up and wait, United 58 heavy.
But we're doing all right. Okay, cool. Now I can kind of take it easy. We're on the glide slope. Pretty soon I'm going to start slowing down. Actually, I can start letting it slow down now.
Skywest 3295, welcome to San Francisco, exit right, exit left when able, taxi the ramp via Alpha, remain this frequency, good day. Alright, left when able and over to the via Alpha for 1385, thanks for the great service, you have a good one.
The approach. This is such a fast flight.
Got it, 415 heavy, runway 1 left, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 1 left, United
about 7
415
miles
heavy.
out, so let me get this plugged in. 2. Right, and then send that. Right. We'll throw it on the gear because we're getting pretty close. And I'm looking for what should be 3 green, but it probably won't actually be 3 green. And we are getting there, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting there. This is cool. All right, so our speed is looking good. Our descent's looking good.
NorCal Velo 101, Defender Fellow 200.
Flaps, so we're going to slow down. I'm not terribly good at landings yet. I'm working on getting better.
Aircraft calling, stay call sign.
Avelo 101, Avelo.
Avelo 101, NorCal approach.
That's all right.
Oakland
Like I said, if I
altimeter,
had to land it myself,
2983, descend maintain 1010,000.
17 10,000, 2983, Avelo 101.
Got it, 1434, cross runway 28 left, taxi ramp via Alpha. Remain this frequency, take care.
Right, cross 28 left, Alpha to the ramp.
Let me plug in my missed approach altitude, which will be 1900 in case I need to take back off and get up in the air.
Southwest 78 to 90, or 78, 98 NorCal.
Gear down, flaps
departure,
down,
expected PDC, stand by.
off. I've got the diamonds lined up. Pappies look good.
Skywest 3807, runway 30 left, number 2, clear land. 30 left, number 2, clear to land, 737.
SoCal departure United 415 heavy,
We're doing
calling
this,
through
folks.
3900.
We're doing this.
Left turn to port.
Got it, 415 heavy NorCal departure, radar contact, climb, maintain, flight level 190.
I'm maintaining flight level 190, 415.
It's looking good.
Minimums.
I can see the airport, so we're good there. And I'm going to go ahead and take autopilot off. Should be good. All right. We won't be on the numbers, but we'll be close enough. All right. Starting to flare.
United 16, cross runway 1 left, cross runway 1 right, continue taxi to 28 left via Foxtrot.
We're on the ground.
NorCal approach below horizon 5315 with you at 7,000.
Hawaiian 16, cross runway 1 left, cross runway 1 right at Foxtrot 1, continue taxi via Foxtrot.
That was a pleasant landing. Hopefully y'all agree. Hopefully you agree, but I'm very pleased with that. That's what we in the
NorCal approach below horizon
Sim business call a butter landing.
with you at flight level 070. 4
Taxiing
nautical miles
off
from
the runway.
Yankee Echo.
Let's see if I can get my airport chart up so I can figure out where they're going to want me to park.
United
Right.
58 heavy, runway 2 left, clear for takeoff.
And
Horizon 5313.
Horizon 5315, NorCal approach. Expect ILS runway 28 left approach. San Francisco altimeter 2982.
cool. Oh, look, there's
Both
a map on
the
here.
ILS 28 left and 298 to 5315.
Approach Executive 3407 is clear, runway 30 left and ready to taxi to transient parking. That's all right.
Exit 3407, taxi to the ramp via Victor. Remain as frequency. Take care.
Via Victor, remain on this frequency. Thanks a lot for the ATC. All right, there we go. So we're just going to cross over a couple of these taxiways. Get on Victor. I like being in, one of the other reasons why I like this plane is because I can actually see the charts in the plane, so I can keep my eyes on the primary flight display and out the window, doing what I need to do. But yeah, San Jose is looking great. Looking good out here. You know, one of the interesting things for me was just getting used to the alphabet. So when you're pronouncing letters, you use the phonetic alphabet. So in aviation, you've got, you know, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta,
NorCal approach, good day, Bonanza 927 Charlie Foxtrot with you at 10,500.
Yeah, this flight went really well. I'm pleased. I don't know what other flight simmers would say, but I'm happy, and that's what matters.
Hawaiian 16 heavy, contact San Francisco Tower 120.5. Good day.
And hopefully I should be seeing another jet landing here soon on the same runway that I just landed on.
120.5. 120.5. Southwest 7898, contact San Francisco Tower 120.5, Sam.
Alright. I don't know what you folks on LinkedIn have been doing. I haven't been able to see any of the chat whatsoever.
All aircraft on at the San
sorry
Francisco
for that.
Airport, contact San Francisco Tower 120.5, Sam.
Once we get
United
parked,
415, contact Oakland Center 132.2.
share just some final tips on system design.
132.2,
I didn't realize how much
United
brain power the approach is going to take.
United 58 heavy, climb and maintain 6,000.
Climb and maintain 6,000, United 58 heavy.
Look at that.
United 58 heavy, climb and maintain 900,000. Your
on
radar
the line.
contacts the altitude.
Climb and maintain 900,000, crossing 3,700, United 58.
Lights and strobe off.
Pro Flight 213 at Archie. Join the Quiet Bridge visual runway 28 right approach course. Report charted landmark. Report the bridges or the airport in sight.
Okay, report the bridges or the airport in sight at Archie. We'll fly the Quiet
Alright, now
Bridge
don't laugh at me, 'cause
visual
I
to
don't all the way know
213. Thank you.
that well, but
Skywest 3807,
looking
cross
good.
runway
Oh, yeah, here we
30
go.
right, taxi to the ramp via Zulu. Take care.
Cross 30 right,
Perfect.
Zulu to the ramp, thanks. Cross 37.
Alright, I'm just gonna
United 58 heavy, fly heading 040, 040.
and then we'll be good to go. Alright, so
Heading
this is
040
pretty much
United
it,
58.
you know?
Horizon
almost
53
from startup to
15 to maintain 7,000.
Alright, here we go.
Maintain 7,000, 5315.
Parking is actually kind of difficult in this game. Not the actual parking, but finding a spot. It's not always clear to me what I need to do.
And Victor actually Papa 101, fly heading 300, 300 on the heading.
Heading 300, Velo 101.
Approach Executive 3407 is shutting down. Thanks for the ATC. Have a good day.
Take care.
All right, and that's it. Oh, I should probably turn off the engines. That would be a good idea. There we go. All right, so total flight time of hour and a half. We actually were, that's longer than I expected. Was it really an hour and a half? It wasn't an hour and a half, it was an hour. Yeah, so our total flight was about an hour, and we spent 34 minutes on the ground, about 30 minutes on the ground, about 4 minutes taxiing. So overall, I'd say good. Flight plan had me getting here at, oh, I don't want to do that. Focus, focus, focus. I don't know what time the flight plan had me coming in, but I'm telling you it was good. So just trust me on that. So again, this is just a game, and I'm not a real world pilot, but it is nice to pretend like it. I might not be a programmer forever, and so it's nice to dream a little bit that I might be able to do something different, like being a pilot.
Traffic 3 o'clock now, less than 3 miles northwestbound.
All right, cool. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Like I said, this is the first for me. I've never played, streamed myself playing game before, and I know that it's a super popular thing. But yeah, I thought I'd give it a shot and have the opportunity to talk tech a little bit. I know that I didn't get to talk a lot of tech, but nevertheless, here we are. All right, cool. We're on ground power. Everything is beautiful. Let's go take a quick look around. So here, so last night I went and downloaded the latest scenery for this airport. So let's get aligned real quick. There we go. So here we've got Mineta San Jose Airport, just like I remember it. I can't wait to get back. Here's the parking structure that I park in, where you also pick up your rental cars, all the terminals. So that's nice. Now let's see if I can find El Goog, because I think, let's see, where's that highway? Right here, yeah. So let's see, well, no, where's the water? That way, right? Okay. I feel bad because I feel like I should just know how to get to Google from here, but I don't always do a good job of figuring that out. Yeah, so here's I know to go for the water, and at some point or another, yeah, so there's Moffett. Yeah, I'm heading in the right direction. Going so slow, but this is San Jose, everybody. And pretty soon we'll be getting into Mountain View. If you go a little farther, Cupertino. Moffett Air Force, Moffett Field. So Google acquired that when? I can't remember. A few years ago. So down here are actually some Google offices as well. A number of buildings. Really nice offices there. There's another airport there. All right, let's see if I can do this right. I know if I'm flying visually, I want to look for, there we go. Yep, so here's Google HQ. There it is. A little more cloud cover than I expected, but looks pretty nice, right? This is pretty accurate. I've been very impressed with how Microsoft and Asobo have used Bing Maps to get this stuff set down. Obviously, they put some care and attention to getting some at least recognizable quality stuff here. Oh, I think I had orientation in that building that we're looking at right now. But yeah, here we are from Compton to Google. We did it. I'm very happy about this. So yeah, I guess this video will make the light of day. I won't go and delete after all. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. And like I said, with the last 20 minutes, I just want to share what little bit I know about systems design interviews. Just talk through that a little bit. So we talked about preparation. We talked about what to expect. You'll be asked to build a system, to design a system. And oh my gosh, there's a plane right there. Don't know how that happened. That's weird. But you'll be, oh goodness, that's weird. Oh, this must be another player. Maybe they weren't able to know this. Wow. All right, just ignore that, everybody. We talked about how to prepare. Let me get myself together. How to prepare for system design interviews, which require doing some research, but then also a game plan, right? And I talked about make sure that you gather requirements, make sure that you're asking good questions so that you're identifying what the use cases are, identify who's going to be using the system, what the roles are, and what the use cases are. And once you've gone from requirements, go to design, right? So talk about what are the software qualities that you need to meet: correctness, robustness, security, accessibility, internationalization, localization, more properly said, and some other things. Understand what qualities your software needs to possess, and then after that, you're gonna just break that down. Once you know what the qualities are, then you can start thinking through, okay, well, I'm going to have these many servers. They're going to be located in these particular regions. I'm expecting to have this many queries per second. We talked a little bit about using back of the napkin calculation. So one of the things that was helpful for me when I was studying for interviews is knowing powers of 2. That would help me to anticipate, bits and bytes, and to understand maybe how much memory I might need for a particular task. And, if I wanted a server, how much memory would that server need, and this, that, and the other. I'm horrible at math, so and I fortunately didn't have to do that much in the way of back of the napkin stuff. But I'm telling you that it can be very useful for you to know. Once you've done that and you've come up with a design, you really want to. One other really important piece of advice when it comes to system design is to make sure that you stop and let your interviewer give you feedback about where you're going. It can be something as simple as, okay, so I've got a server and I've got a client, and before I move on, I just want to know, do you have any questions? Do you want to know more about the database versus the client where I'm going? Do you want to know more about the UI? Do you want to know more about the web services? So you can actually ask your interviewer for information about that. And do that. One of the things that's frustrating for me is when I'm talking to candidates and helping them for system design, they just talk and talk and talk, and I don't really want to interrupt them because I'm getting useful information, but not quite the information I wanted. And I have a hard time interrupting candidates because I don't want to break their train of thought, and I'm also busy taking notes and trying to figure things out for myself about how I want the interview to go. I may take longer than maybe I even should to ask you for specific details that I'm looking for. And that doesn't work in your favor. So it's very important for you to stop and ask, like, okay, do you want me to, I'm thinking about going in this direction. Is that fine with you, or would you like me to go in a different direction? Make sure to incorporate those pauses. I'd say don't speak continuously for more than maybe 2 minutes without having that check to make sure that they're following. Okay, so you want to pay attention to things like transitions. You want to ask frequently, hey, is everything good? Do you have any questions? Don't be afraid of that, because that can again just be helpful and work in your favor. And don't be afraid to say, hey, I haven't had exposure to this particular thing. I don't exactly know what I would do, but just off the top of my head, here's what I might consider. Okay, that kind of an honest feedback is very important. You don't want to be making things up because your interviewer will know, and if you're pretending to know something that you don't, it just doesn't look good on you and work well for anybody. So don't do that. Let me think. So that's one big piece of advice for you, especially for those of you that have a tendency to ramble. Make sure that you are pausing intentionally and thinking and inviting your interviewer to provide you feedback on whether you're going in the right. Getting feedback is not a problem. Depending upon your interviewer for an answer or for answers is a problem. Of course, there's a certain amount of, you should be asking questions and getting details about the problem that you're trying to solve. Somebody may ask you, hey, I want you to design Twitter. That's the system design question. Or, hey, I want you to design Pandora, right? So you'll probably be asked a question about some technology that you're probably familiar with, if not directly, then as a consumer or something of that nature. Or it could be something that company does, right? And so you'll have some sense for what the system needs to do, probably some familiarity, and but it'll be vague, and you need to ask questions in order to get more of the details out as necessary. So make sure that you don't get into a situation where you're rambling. If you've done the preparation beforehand and done the research, then that will help you because you'll kind of know where you need to go. You'll know about some of the things that you should mention, and talk through that. If you use a word, by the way, and you don't all the way know what it means, don't be afraid to mention that. But don't pretend like you know, right? You may have heard something in passing. You may have a vague definition of it, but be clear that you're only vaguely familiar with it, that you haven't had real experience, because that, again, is important. Honesty is very important in the process. Okay, so that's that. So we talked about gathering requirements. We talked about designing for software qualities, and then actually putting together design. For some system design questions, you may actually be asked to do a bit of a coding exercise. It's something that I sometimes like to do. You may be asked to do anything from designing a table schema, right? And so think about what tables would you have, what column names, what data types for those columns, all that stuff. How might you organize the data? Would you shard, not shard, all that stuff, SQL, no SQL. Or you may be asked to write a particular part of the subsystem and do all that. So once you have a design, one of the other things I think is very important for you to do is to actually think about testability. So normally in the problem solving, in the 6-step process that I recommend to my candidates for problem solving, there's the last step 6 is testing. And you may not be able to actually write any code in a system design interview. If you do, you should absolutely test it. So this will definitely apply to you. But if you're not asked to code, you want to be thinking with the testing mindset. How would you confirm that things are working the way that they need to work? How are you going to implement verifiability? How are you going to get awareness to things? And so usually when I talk about testing, there's a number of things. Number one, how would you organize the testing? What kind of testing would you use? What kind of strategies would you employ for testing your system? But not only that, you also want to talk about how would you think about logging? How would you think about alerting? What kind of alerting would you have? If something goes wrong, how do you want to find out about it? What kind of stats do you need in order to find out how your system is working? You may want to log button clicks. You may want to use visual element logging. You may want to use beacons, and you need to know the difference between those two different kinds of strategies. It's useful to think about things like SLAs, SLOs, right? Service level agreements. And understand the difference between SLAs, SLOs, when you might want to pursue one versus the other. When you're talking about reliability, how many nines of uptime do you want to ensure? So do you want to make sure that the system is up 99.9% of the time? That'd be 1 9, 2 nines, 99.99, and so forth and so on. You need to think about different strategies depending upon how many nines you're adding, and deal with all that. You may be building a system that doesn't need to be uber reliable. That is, it can tolerate some downtime or some maintenance time, whatever that may be. But you just need to be thinking about that. And so when you're thinking about the testing part of the verification part of the problem solving process, make sure that you mention that. Your interviewer may have some specific questions, they may not. What I tend to do is come up with my questions on the fly as I'm talking to a candidate to understand where they're going and what they think is important, and sort of do this in the moment. There's no prescribed, well, this is the perfect answer and this is what you have to say in order to pass. It's really a conversation between two engineers and someone who's competent in system design. There's going to be some familiarity. There's going to be some familiar key terms. There's going to be some familiar lingo, all that stuff. And so that's really what I end up looking for. I want to know that you have the ability, depending upon what level you're interviewing for, I want to know that you have the ability to design a system or to think about the components that would be needed, that you can think in multiple layers, right? Not just in the layer where you are, maybe on the front end or maybe on the back end, but in the other levels as well. Do you have an awareness of how to build quality scalable software? Is this something that you've done before? Obviously, as you are applying for higher level positions at a company, the expectation for system design increases. And so if you're applying for a junior position, grad position, fresh out of school, you're not really going to be expected to know design because you haven't had any real practical experience to speak of in most cases. But if you are coming to a tech company like me after 10 or 11 years in the game, 12 years, I don't remember, the expectation is that I've had some experience doing system design, that I should be competent in that, or at least have some ability. And then obviously if you're leading other engineers, especially at the big tech companies, you're expected to know systems design and be able to communicate technical designs to other capable engineers, because you'll be doing some leading. So those are my quick tips. I know I just sort of just smashed them down on you. I realize that, but hopefully this was somewhat useful, and hopefully, and if you weren't here for interviewing tips, that's cool. Hopefully you enjoyed the flight. Like I said, I'm going to make sure to get this in a video and publish it so that you all can watch it if you missed it, or you may not even care. That's cool too. I'm just going to do what I do and not worry about the rest, because I enjoyed this. Thanks, Joseph, for joining me for the flight. Hopefully you've enjoyed the trip over here as much as I did. I know that you said that you enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it, I think, even more. Being under the gun, working with live air traffic control, following instructions, that was pretty neat. And like I said, I don't plan to leave my job anytime soon to become a pilot, but it sure does get tempting doing all this. So maybe I'll hit you up later on in a real airplane. We'll see. Oh, what's this? Oh yeah, Via Stadium. Sweet. Love the detail here. All right. Well, I've got things that I need to jump into and get into, so I'm gonna leave you here shortly. But thanks. If you have any feedback, please do let me know. Maybe I'll do more of these in the future. If there's topics that you'd like me to discuss, or information that you're interested in, please do let me know, and I'll consider getting that into a live stream, maybe doing another AMA or something of that nature. Just real quickly before I shut down, shout out to a couple people on YouTube. Drawya is one of my favorite YouTubers when it comes to Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. So shout out to Drawya for his help. P. Gatcom is a super knowledgeable dude when it comes to aviation and flying, VFR, IFR, all that stuff, and so I've really enjoyed videos from him. If you're interested in learning more about that, you can follow P. Gatcom. P. Gatcom. All right, I need to stop saying it before I mess it up even more. Drawya, DrawyaH. There's some other folks too. You can find them pretty easily, but yeah. Flight Sim Pro, I think, is another YouTuber. I've watched some of their videos and enjoyed that. Great stuff. Also, shout out to VATSIM for the excellent volunteers and controllers who participate and make this game fun and enjoyable for everyone. If you end up watching the stream, thanks so much. And Oakland Center, appreciate you getting us down on the ground safely. All right, with all that, I'm gonna sign off. Y'all have a good day. I really enjoyed playing games with y'all on my day off. Let's do this again sometime. You can follow me, Anthony D. Mays, on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, most importantly. So come and find me, holler at me, let me know how I can help. In the meantime, y'all have a good one. Peace.